motherfucking pod.
So the word motherfucker is a noun. It describes a person, place, or thing.
What up, motherfuckers? I'm back. We back. The motherfucking podcast is back for season 4. Season 4. Look. I'm excited. It's a new season. More bullshit. New direction. New logo. New look. Feeling like a new nigga. But man, look, you already know what it is, man. I'm your host, Beanie Man, aka Mr. Headquarters, Bumbleclot, you heard me? First off, I want to say shout outs to all the people that's been down with us since day one. Since day one, our day ones, man, y'all been the real MVPs of this motherfucker. Y'all been helping us keep going. Shout out to y'all. But first thing first, make sure y'all go to themotherfuckingpod.com. Check out our website. Get the gear. Get the dog tags. Get the hats. Get the hoodie. Get the motherfucking mask. Support the crew. Got a few things to talk about. Just a few things. Been on a hiatus for a little bit. There's been a few things going on in the world since we've been gone. A lot of things that's been going on in the world. I mean, there's been a lot of shootings. There's been some cases of monkeypox. Don't know what the fuck that's gonna be all about. Motherfuckers fighting in airports and shit. But first thing first, man, this podcast is gonna be about opinionated facts. But let's get into the news first, though. There's some news about Soulja Slim, you know, a legend in New Orleans here in the 504. It's been said that 50 Cent is gonna be doing a documentary on Soulja Slim. And already I was like, you know what, that's gonna be dope. It's been almost 20 years since he's been passed. I remember exactly where I was at when I heard the news about him getting killed. That hit the community in New Orleans real hard. I mean, that shit was hard. Yeah, man. But yeah, I think that's gonna be dope, man. I can't wait to hear this shit. I can't wait to see it. I only seen it on one report though, so I don't know how true this is. Y'all let me know if y'all heard the same thing that I heard. But let me know how y'all feel. Y'all want to see a Soulja Slim documentary produced by 50 Cent? I think it's gonna be dope, man. I trust me, especially if you're from New Orleans and you familiar with his music. It's kind of like our Big L from New York. You know, when he passed out in New York and he didn't get the chance to get that height of potential. You know, he went to jail for a little while, came back. His best album was probably years later and a few months after. That was like a continuation of an album that he put out after he got out of jail. That shit was fire. And like, he just started to get national attention. Like, he was about to blow, man. It was like everybody saw the potential that he was about to be the next big thing. That's why it was so hard to hear about him passing, man. It was like you just wanted to see him make it, you know, because you know he was about that life. He changed everything around, and you know, I remember I'll never forget. I was at this was November 2003, I think, and I was working for the Superdome. I was an usher at the Superdome, and as you'll find out, I had many jobs in this throughout my fucking life. But but nah, I was working at the Superdome, and I was in the back. I was on break, and everybody was listening to Q93, and everybody got the news, and it was like, yo, Soulja Slim got shot. I was like, bruh, the whole fucking room just fucking mood just went down. Like, you can hear people in the back like, nah, what the fuck? You like, seriously? Like, bruh had just got on top, just got out of jail. So yeah, I want to see that. Let me know what y'all think, man. If y'all want to see that Soulja Slim documentary, produced by 50 Cent. That's a rumor out there. So moving on though, in the other news. Everybody's in potentially fear about this next outbreak. I'm like, oh fuck, man. I know y'all tired of this shit, right? Come on, I know y'all got to be tired of this too. Like another fucking outbreak of something different, like they talking about. And this time, here it is. The naming of the motherfucker just threw me off. I'm like, the monkeypox. I'm like, now I know this shit ain't funny because niggas been dying and shit, but come on now, like monkeypox. What y'all trying to say? Motherfuckers was out here fucking monkeys and shit, and then you got the version of monkey flu. Like, come on, son. Come on, monkeypox. Like, sometimes I think these scientists that I want to know who's naming these motherfuckers. Like, who putting these names together for everybody to know what these certain diseases is and shit. Well, yeah, we gonna name this monkeypox. Like, what the fuck, my nigga? Monkeypox. Come on now. But that's the next thing they talk about right now. They talk about monkeypox is supposed to be the next coronavirus, COVID-19 or whatever. So I would say this: eat right, exercise, one type of solution. Another is there ain't none. I mean, I don't know, because based off of what they say, you either gonna get it or you're not. So I don't know. It's kind of weird with the information. I'm glad to know about it, but we'll see what happens. As far as that, there's only been like I think they said only maybe like 500 cases, I think, or 300 cases in the world so far, with a few in Northeast US. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm sure y'all already heard about the Buffalo shooting and the shootings in Uvalde, Texas. At the fourth grade class got shot up by I believe an 18-year-old, if I remember right. It's sad to hear. Some more shootings came out I think today, June 2nd, right now as I'm recording this. There was more shootings at I believe at another different supermarket throughout the country. There's just been more and more information about these shootings. I feel like there was a lot of these shootings already. They just weren't getting reported. But now it does feel like there's more being brought to the news cycle. That's what it is. This has always been an issue. People have always been shooting people in mass amounts. The one thing that's different is motherfuckers, this ignorant motherfucker that went to the black neighborhood and shot up a grocery store. That motherfucker. So, there's been situations like that where they, he live streamed that shit on fucking Twitch. So I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird situation that's going on in the world. There's a lot more attention on things. There's more information. There's more cameras. It's good and it's bad at the same time because one, yes, you get to know about these things and be more aware. Maybe even some changes down the line in legislature. But on the downside, I mean, I feel like people get more desensitized about seeing how many people just die on the regular, even on TV, even online. You can look at the video online and in its entirety on your phone. The way these people died was just, it was fucked up. Same thing with the kids, you know. It's hard to hear about those things. But also, Louisiana is been stated to be per capita the highest mass shooting state in the country, with New Orleans leading all cities per capita. Now I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, am I just that desensitized to where I didn't realize that we was that bad? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think about it as like when considering what is considered a mass shooting, you know. But there's been a ton of mass shootings as of late, and Louisiana is in a lead in that mug. But I mean, let me know what y'all think, man. People from the 504, man. Do y'all agree with this shit? Do y'all think it's a little bit inflated or what? I mean, I think there's some truth to it. I mean, we know there's been a big rise in crime and stuff like that. So we always say stop the violence, as far as like, you know, if it's one thing to fight somebody hand to hand, right? But it's another thing to go pick up a gun in somebody's life and in yours, because you either gonna get killed in return or you're going to go to jail. And we seen enough of that in our community enough, so we need to just chill out on that shit. But in other news, but also I feel like if we're gonna talk about it, we gotta also talk about what we can do as solutions. Because I hear a lot of times people just complaining and bitching and moaning, but not giving any kind of insight of what potentially could be a solution. It's just like to point fingers. So instead of pointing fingers, how about adding in some solutions? I think there should be some more funded community groups within communities to get together and work with kids in the inner city, in all counties, parishes that's available. Start there. Another one, I think it was a good step in the right direction with the reorganization of the police department. That's the right step in the right direction. I don't know if it's going to change much, but it's going to take a lot of time for that to really show some kind of effects, you know? So we'll see what happens on that one. But I know a lot of people would rather see it defunded in some areas. I think this is the right step in the right direction for right now. Maybe we need to have more community outreach, funding of that, more community outreach. But that's just a thought for now. In other news, and more funnier news, there was a fight in Newark Airport. And the reason why this is so funny to me, because the fact that the video of the fight went viral, and the video that I first saw shows this United Airlines worker. I don't know if he's white or Spanish or whatever, and this black passenger. So the first thing you see is that these guys like they was coming out of an argument or whatever, right? And the next thing you know, you see this the worker come up and just gives him a quick hook slap to the face. And I'm like, oh shit. And then he stepped back. I'm like, this is about to be bad. It's about to be bad. And then so the passenger looks at him, he's like, did y'all see that? Y'all saw him? And then next thing you know, this motherfucker just served up the worst ass whooping in the quickest 2-second 1-2 punch flatline in the history of fucking online fights. Bro, this dude hit this man so hard. The first one, he was already out after the first punch. First punch he took, he ate that motherfucker and he was dazed. The last one was just like a straight fuck you. Like he punched him on that second hit, and this motherfucker flipped over like some luggage and shit, and fucking laid flat on the fucking conveyor belt. And like you got to see the video. This shit just he just landed so flat on his fucking back. But this shit was so funny. Laid him flat on his back. Look. Let me say this. I don't promote violence, and obviously, you know what I'm saying? I don't promote no violence. But if a motherfucker put their hands on you first, you give them the right. That gives you the right to whoop their fucking ass. And that's what happened here. That's what happened. The worst scenario of somebody hitting somebody first and then getting their ass beat the fuck down. Like this dude got up and had like a bloody face. This dude was like, clearly when he started walking around, he was already dazed up. He couldn't even know where the fuck he was at. So let that be a lesson to you, man. Like, look, stop fucking testing people out here in these streets, man. Y'all got to stop doing this. Y'all got to stop getting into these fights with random ass motherfuckers and thinking y'all can whoop anybody ass. Like, and then here's the funny part. Now, after all this situation went down or whatever, right? So this is in a Newark airport. So the employee ends up getting fired. At first, they said he was on leave. Then they ended up saying that he got fired. All right, that's it. Nothing else. No charges. Nothing. Now, come to find out, the guy that he got into a fight with, was an ex-NFL cornerback for the Denver Broncos. So this dude, it made sense to why, you know, just one punch was enough to knock his fucking head off. So this motherfucker just sitting here picking a fight. Now we don't know why they got into a fight. Well, all we know is that motherfucker ended the fight. And they ended up giving the passenger charges. He ends up getting simple battery charges. So I understand why he ended up getting. So that's why I was saying maybe something more was a part of this that we don't know about. But he ends up getting simple battery charges. So y'all let me know though. I mean, I don't know all the particulars of this shit, but I just saw the video and kind of saw like some news edits behind it. I thought was kind of interesting. But yeah, let me know what y'all think, man. What happened with this? What what was going on with this shit? Like what would y'all do in this situation? Like I think ain't no other way it would have happened. He would have had to get his ass beat like he just got. You put your hands on me, you gonna eat these hands. So unfortunately for him, unfortunately for the passenger, he ends up getting simple battery charges put on him. But that's it. That's what happened with that shit. We'll see what happens with if there's any other updates on it, because this shit is too funny not to talk about. But number one, don't judge a book by its cover. Number two, stop picking fights with random motherfuckers that you don't realize. You don't know who you picking these fights with, man. You don't know who you picking these fights with. Motherfuckers fucking around be like a kung fu champion, a fucking slap box champion. You better stop fucking picking fights with these people, man. Like these people, some people out here will really hurt you. So, but one thing is certain though, if these dudes, whatever it was, I don't know what started this fight between these motherfuckers, but somebody got in their feelings and then somebody got hurt. But speaking of feelings, fuck your feelings. What I mean by that is, when you think about the hustle mindset, you have to remove your feelings in the business aspect. Fuck your feelings. When it comes to business, business is business. You're going to always have some kind of obstacle in your way. One thing is for certain, that you always got to make sure that your mind is on the right frequency. you got to act accordingly. I mean, it's all about cause and effect, how you react to certain things, right? And I talk about this because I talk about being an entrepreneur, and with the hustle mindset is aggressively, strategically, efficiently taking care of your business without having any excuses. That's the hustle mindset. And with that being said, you have to make sure that you're keeping your mind at ease. One thing, there's one quote that I've heard from Mike Tyson. And when I was in the military, and we'll get to a lot of military stories later down the line. But for myself, there was discipline need to be had. You know what I'm saying? So one of his quotes that he had was, his definition of discipline was, discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it as if you love it. Think about that, though. One of the biggest things as an entrepreneur I've learned is that I have to be disciplined. I thought I was disciplined before, but I was not as disciplined as I needed to be. So I said, hey, I need to get myself even more disciplined than what the fuck I'm doing right now to get where I'm at, where I need to get to where I want to be. Right? And I think about the hustle mindset. The hustle mindset means to take care of your motherfucking business. Stay disciplined. Stay aggressive. More of the story is, fuck your feelings. Last up, man, in a new segment, I want to show some appreciation to some throwback albums that I consider dope albums that don't get enough attention. So without further ado, the MF'N Hits. For me, I'm throwing in there, we talked about it earlier, Years Later, and a few months after by Soulja Slim. We're going to throw that one as a bonus because we talked about it earlier. But also, I want to bring up another album, which I thought was a mini classic in my opinion, which was The Sound of Revenge. And if y'all remember who its Sound of Revenge is, by Chameleon, straight out of Houston. For me, this album was significant to me because I was brand new in the military. We had just been evacuated because of Hurricane Katrina. And I don't know, something about this this title just feels right for this episode, Sound of Revenge. And shout out to all the crew members out there. Shout out to all our crew members out there, man. Sound of Revenge by Chameleon. Let me know what y'all think of that album if you ever heard it before. But the first song on that album comes on, you know what I'm saying? It gets straight to it. This is the sound of revenge. And that motherfucker that shit was hitting. That shit was hitting. I think that was a dope album. You had some hits on there too. You had some they had the radio hits like Riding Dirty, and you had Southern Takeover. If y'all ever heard I think Southern Takeover might be the best song on this album, in my opinion. Like as far as like features, because you had Killer Mike on there, you had Pastor Troy on there. Like that that fucking song was dope. Right? Then he had a good song called Think I'm Crazy, which was a good song that made you think about him confronting this chick that killed his friend. Like, if you ain't never heard that song, check that song out. That song was dope. That song was dope. Like, far as lyrically, that song was dope. In the Trunk was probably the best solo song by himself on this album, like, as far as, like, as a bop. Like, you talking about, you can just play that bitch still today in your car. If you just wanted to, get in a good mood and shit and just want to, you know what I'm saying, just drive down there and just hear some bass in your fucking car. Like, that song right there still can be played today, I feel like, in your car. Even had a Lil Wayne song on there, Fly As the Sky, a feature from Wayne on there. So it sounded like the times at that point in time, 2005. 2005, Wayne was different, but it still was still a good song, still a good feature for Wayne. It was a Manny Fresh beat. So, definitely check out that. They had some good songs on this one. Now, going back to years later and a few months after. I mean, for me, if you remember Soulja Slim, thinking about it now, just all the songs on that track, on that album, just makes you sad to know that was his last album that he made before he passed. I mean, just like Soulja Slim brought that real shit. He brought that gutter shit, that straight New Orleans rap. But also, he also liked the trick, you know what I'm saying? So he talked about that too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I paid for it. Everybody remember that song. I paid for it. I paid for it. I paid for it. Look, he had motherfuckers in there like, man, I don't know about that one, but that song is fucking slapping right now. Like, yeah, I ain't paying for shit. But that song is, look, it ain't, like he said, it ain't tricking if you got it. But nah, a lot of people, in my opinion, the best song on that album, though, was probably Magnolia. That was probably his best song, in my opinion. And you gotta shout out to KLC, the drum major. Like, yo, like, dude was like a hidden legend in New Orleans as far as like a producer. Like, the fact that he don't get the recognition that he deserved, like kind of like Manny Fresh got, like, that's how great KL was. Still is. If you heard this album, you already know how Soulja Slim was rocking. You know what I'm saying? He had some probably Dickies, some soldiers on. You know what I'm saying? Like the classic New Orleans nigga fit. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that was him. That was Soulja Slim, man. This is before Slow Motion, and before that became a number one hit album. I mean, number one hit song. This was dope, man. I mean, this album was fire. Like, if you like gutter gangster rap, Soulja Slim was what you wanted to hear. He also had Love Me or Love Me Not, another great song that was a great single that made some airplay a little bit. I just always felt like he didn't get pushed enough as far as like his music that was out there. Like, he was on a smaller label by that time, his own label. He wasn't on like no big major label like he was when he was with No Limit, when he first started out, and then he left No Limit and then went on his own with Koch Records, and the Cutthroat Committee. So and then he linked up with BG. Everybody know who BG was. If he was from New Orleans, people out of New Orleans know who BG was. So BG had his own following. So when they linked up and had their Cutthroat Committee in their own album, their own label, like, that shit was dope. People was on that shit. So it just kind of brings up, like, being in high school for me. That was the music I was listening to. That was some of the stuff that I was listening to. Like, you had people like obviously you had Cash Money. You had No Limit at the time, which was started out kind of before Cash Money got big. No Limit was out there. They was doing their thing. People listening to some New York shit too. You know, DMX was big when we was coming up. But you know, as far as coming from the city, you know, you had BG, Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Big Timers. You know, you had some other people like, you know, Master P, Mystical, Mia X, Fiend. You know, so you know, you just had there was just so many top acts coming out of New Orleans around that time, though. It's crazy thinking about it. But yeah, that's it for this segment, though, man. Shout out to those two albums, though, man. Y'all definitely got to go check those out if y'all never heard them before. Make sure y'all check out Soulja Slim's album Years Later and A Few Months After, and check out Chameleon's Sound of Revenge. Those two albums to me was a good classic albums. One from the 504, one from 713. So, you know, make sure y'all go check those out, man. But with that being said, that's all the time I got for this episode. We're gonna have some more shit coming down the pipes. We're gonna have some special interviews coming up, man, later in the season. I just want to get on here and talk my shit a little bit, man. I had to you know, put in my couple opinionated facts out there. Two great albums out there. Talk about some of these crazy things going on in the news. I want to talk about a little bit. You know, we talk about the mass shootings out there and how it affects Louisiana. We also talked about this new Amarion virus, monkeypox, or whatever they calling it. Oh, and we also talked about this crazy fight that happened at the Newark airport. So yeah, so if y'all ain't ever seen that shit, go check that crazy fucking video out online. It will probably be on our page at some point in time, so make sure y'all go check it out. But like I say always, you know what I'm saying, come rock with the crew, man. A lot of times we just vibing, man. Make sure y'all check out our sports page, our sports show that we have every week. We talk sports and shit. So make sure y'all check that out, the motherfucking pod. So make sure y'all check us out on the motherfuckingpod.com. Get the motherfucking merch. As you can see, I got the motherfucking NOLA edition to my right. I got the black and white edition on right now with my motherfucking dog tags. You know what I'm saying? Repping the culture crew as always. But you know what it is, man. Support the motherfucking crew. It only costs $1 a month. So y'all want to see us grow and see this podcast get bigger and bigger and bigger. You know what I'm saying? Pause. Make sure y'all support the motherfucking crew. Make sure y'all support us, the West Bank edition. With that being said, man, I'm your host. With that being said, I'm your host, Beanie Man, aka Mr. Headquarters. Bumba Clyde, you heard me. It's the motherfucking pod.